When everything falls apart, when the power grid collapses, when natural disasters strike without warning, when society buckles under pressure, there's one thing standing between survival and catastrophe. What's in your bag? Not what you think should be there, not what sounds good in theory, but what actually keeps you alive when every second counts. Most people get this wrong, and it costs them everything. If you're serious about preparedness, about protecting yourself and those who depend on you, then hit that subscribe button right now. Because what we're covering today could determine whether you make it through the next crisis or become another statistic. This isn't entertainment, this is education that saves lives, so pay attention to every word. The truth that nobody wants to admit is that when disaster strikes, 90% of people are completely unprepared. They panic, they scramble, they make fatal mistakes. The grocery stores empty within hours, the gas stations run dry, the hospitals overflow, the water stops flowing from taps, and in that chaos, the only people who survive are those who prepared before the emergency began. Your survival bag isn't just a collection of gear, it's your lifeline, your insurance policy, your chance at making it through when everything else fails. But here's the problem. Most survival bags are filled with useless junk, unnecessary weight, and critical gaps that get exposed when it's too late to fix them. We're going to change that right now. Water is the first thing that will kill you if you get it wrong. The human body can survive weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And in a survival situation with stress, physical exertion, and environmental factors, that timeline shrinks even faster. The American Red Cross recommends 1 gallon of water per person per day as a minimum standard, and that's not excessive, that's reality. But carrying 3 gallons of water for a 3-day emergency weighs 25 pounds, and that's before you add anything else to your bag. This is where most people fail in their planning. The solution isn't carrying more water, it's carrying the means to make water safe. A quality water filtration system weighs ounces, but can process thousands of gallons. Systems that use hollow fiber membranes can remove bacteria, parasites, and microplastics from virtually any freshwater source. But filtration alone isn't enough, because some viruses are too small for mechanical filters. This is why water purification tablets or drops containing chlorine dioxide or iodine must be in your bag. These chemicals kill viruses that filters miss. In a real emergency, you'll find water sources, streams, rivers, ponds, even rainwater. But drinking contaminated water leads to dysentery, cholera, and other diseases that will kill you just as surely as dehydration. One metal water bottle that can withstand boiling temperatures gives you another purification method. Because boiling water for 1 minute kills all pathogens. Most people forget this redundancy, having only one method of water treatment, and when that method fails or runs out, they're finished. Food is the next critical element, but not the way most people think. You don't need gourmet meals. You need calorie-dense, nutrient-rich, non-perishable foods that require minimal preparation. Energy bars designed for emergency situations can provide 2,000 calories in a small package that lasts 5 years. Freeze-dried meals are lightweight, require only hot water, and deliver complete nutrition. But here's what people constantly forget. You need variety for morale, and you need foods that won't upset your digestive system under stress. When your body is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol during an emergency, your digestive system becomes sensitive. Foods you normally tolerate might cause problems. This is why bland, simple foods like rice, oats, and crackers often work better than spicy or complex meals. Peanut butter is survival gold, packed with protein, fat, and calories, stable at room temperature for months, and requires no cooking. Salt is absolutely essential, but almost always forgotten. Your body loses salt through sweat, and without adequate sodium, you'll experience muscle cramps, weakness, confusion, and eventually death. Small packets of salt weigh nothing but could save your life. Multivitamins fill nutritional gaps when fresh food isn't available. And here's something critical that almost nobody includes: comfort food. One small chocolate bar, a pack of hard candy, something that brings psychological comfort during extreme stress. Mental health matters in survival situations, and morale can be the difference between pushing forward and giving up. Light and communication separate those who navigate emergencies successfully from those who stumble in the dark. A quality LED flashlight with multiple brightness settings conserves battery while providing powerful illumination when needed. But batteries die, which is why a hand crank flashlight is non-negotiable backup. Human power never runs out. Headlamps free both hands for tasks, which is crucial when you're setting up shelter, treating injuries, or defending yourself. Chemical light sticks provide illumination without batteries or fire, useful for marking trails, signaling, or creating ambient light inside a shelter. But here's what most people completely overlook: night vision preservation. In true darkness, your eyes adapt after about 30 minutes, allowing you to see reasonably well by starlight or moonlight. Bright lights destroy that adaptation. Red light preserves night vision, which is why tactical flashlights include red LED options. This knowledge can make the difference between being able to move safely at night or being functionally blind. For communication, a battery-powered or hand-crank weather radio receives no AA emergency broadcasts, providing critical information about storm paths, evacuation routes, and emergency services. When cell towers fail, and they will fail in major disasters, this radio might be your only source of external information. A charged power bank for your cell phone extends its useful life, but recognize that phone batteries drain quickly when the device constantly searches for signal. Airplane mode preserves battery when communication isn't possible. Two-way radios allow coordination with family members or group members when other communication fails. Whistles carry farther than voices and require less energy than shouting, essential for signaling rescuers or alerting others to danger. Medical supplies determine whether injuries remain minor setbacks or become life-threatening emergencies. A comprehensive first aid kit must include trauma supplies, not just Band-Aids and antiseptic wipes. Hemostatic gauze stops severe bleeding when direct pressure alone isn't enough. Tourniquets save lives from arterial bleeding in extremities. Pressure bandages treat wounds effectively. But medical supplies are worthless without knowledge. Learning basic first aid and trauma care before an emergency is non-negotiable. You need to know how to recognize shock, treat burns, stabilize fractures, and manage infections. A 7-day supply of any prescription medications you depend on must be in your bag, and this supply should be rotated regularly to prevent expiration. Over-the-counter medications cover common problems: pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, antihistamines for allergic reactions, anti-diarrheal medication, and antacids. Nitrile gloves protect against bloodborne pathogens. Medical tape and gauze have countless uses beyond wound care. Antibiotic ointment prevents infections in minor cuts that could become serious without proper care. Tweezers remove splinters, ticks, and debris from wounds. Medical shears cut clothing away from injuries without causing additional harm. A CPR face shield allows you to perform rescue breathing safely. And here's something almost everyone forgets: dental emergency supplies. A severe toothache or broken tooth during a crisis causes excruciating pain that makes it impossible to function. Temporary dental cement and dental pain medication weigh almost nothing but provide relief when dental care isn't available. Shelter and warmth kill more people in survival situations than most other factors. Hypothermia can set in within hours in wet, cold conditions, even when temperatures are above freezing. Emergency blankets made of metallicized plastic reflect body heat back to you and weigh just ounces, but most people buy cheap ones that tear immediately. Quality emergency blankets withstand actual use. A tarp creates shelter from rain and sun, provides ground cover, collects rainwater, and serves dozens of other purposes. Paracord rated for 550 pounds is essential for building shelters, securing gear, creating clotheslines, even emergency repairs on equipment. A quality knife or multi-tool is so fundamental that leaving it out is survival suicide. This tool processes firewood, prepares food, makes repairs, creates notches for shelter building, and handles countless critical tasks. The knife must be full tang construction, meaning the metal extends through the handle, because partial tang knives break under stress. Fire starting capability through multiple methods is absolutely critical. Waterproof matches, a quality lighter, ferrocerium rods that create sparks in any weather, and cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly as tinder. Fire provides warmth, allows water purification through boiling, cooks food, boosts morale, and signals rescuers. Most people pack one fire starting method and think they're prepared, but redundancy saves lives. What happens when your lighter runs out of fuel or your matches get wet despite precautions? Extra clothing adapted to your environment must be in your bag. Cotton kills in wet conditions because it loses all insulating value when damp and dries slowly. Wool and synthetic materials maintain warmth even when wet. A waterproof jacket keeps you dry, which keeps you warm. Dry socks prevent blisters and foot problems that can make walking impossible. A hat prevents heat loss from your head, and in cold conditions, up to 40% of body heat escapes through your head and neck. Work gloves protect your hands during physical labor, and hands are too valuable to risk injuring them. Sturdy boots with ankle support prevent injuries and allow you to cover rough terrain. Many people pack their survival bag with running shoes or casual footwear and then discover during an actual emergency that they can't walk 10 miles carrying weight without destroying their feet. Sanitation and hygiene prevent disease and maintain functionality. Portable toilet solutions, whether purpose-built or improvised with plastic bags and absorbent material, address a need that doesn't stop during emergencies. Toilet paper and wet wipes serve obvious purposes but also work for cleaning surfaces, washing hands when water is limited, and general hygiene. Hand sanitizer kills bacteria and viruses when soap and water aren't available, critical for preventing the spread of disease. Feminine hygiene products for those who need them are absolutely essential and often forgotten by people planning for others. Soap in a waterproof container allows proper hygiene when facilities exist. Sunscreen prevents burns that lead to dehydration and skin damage. Insect repellent protects against mosquitoes that carry diseases and insects that cause bites leading to infections. A small mirror serves as a signaling device and allows you to inspect your own face and mouth for injuries or problems you can't otherwise see. Razor or scissors maintain hygiene and allow you to remove hair that becomes matted or problematic. Garbage bags have dozens of uses: waste disposal, emergency rain gear, waterproofing equipment, ground cover, even emergency shelter material. Documentation and money often get overlooked, but prove critical in many emergency situations. Photocopies of identification documents, insurance policies, medical records, prescriptions, bank account information, and contact numbers for family members stored in a waterproof bag allow you to prove your identity, access assistance, contact loved ones, and begin recovery after the immediate crisis passes. Original documents might be destroyed in disasters that hit your home, but copies in your survival bag preserve this critical information. Cash and small bills works when electronic payment systems fail, and they fail regularly during power outages and disasters. Credit cards and debit cards become useless plastic when the power grid goes down. $100 in cash might buy transportation, supplies, food, or shelter when digital money is worthless. A local map and compass provide navigation when GPS fails, and understanding how to use them requires practice before emergencies strike. Marking evacuation routes and rally points on your map before disaster occurs saves time and confusion when stress and fear cloud judgment. Personal protection is a topic many avoid but must be addressed honestly. During disasters and emergency situations, social order breaks down. Looting, violence, and desperation lead some people to take what they want from others. Whether through pepper spray, a tactical pen, a knife, or other means depending on local laws and personal capability, having some method of self-defense acknowledges reality. Most people never want to use these tools, and most never will, but having options is better than being helpless. Personal security also includes awareness and planning, avoiding confrontation, traveling in groups when possible, remaining aware of surroundings, and having exit strategies from dangerous situations all matter as much as any physical tool. The survival bag itself matters more than most people realize. A quality backpack with padded straps, hip belt for weight distribution, multiple compartments for organization, and durable water-resistant construction is worth the investment. Cheap bags fall apart under stress, zippers fail, straps tear, and seams split. When you're carrying everything you need to survive and moving quickly over rough terrain, equipment failure isn't acceptable. The bag should be sized appropriately for your body and physical capability, An oversized bag encourages packing too much weight, leading to exhaustion and injury. The general rule is pack weight should not exceed 20% of body weight for extended carrying, and preferably stays closer to 15%. Organization within the bag matters critically. Items needed frequently or urgently should be easily accessible. Survival situations create stress and fear that impairs decision-making, and fumbling through a disorganized bag wastes time and creates frustration. Using stuff sacks, Ziploc bags, and pouches to group related items by category makes everything faster and easier. Testing your survival bag before you need it is absolutely non-negotiable. Take it on a day hike. Spend a night camping with only what's in your bag. Identify what works, what doesn't, what's missing, and what's unnecessary. Real-world testing reveals problems that theoretical planning misses. That fire starter might be difficult to use with cold, wet hands. Those emergency food bars might taste so terrible that eating them is a struggle. The water filter might clog more quickly than expected. Your boots might cause blisters after 5 miles. These discoveries are valuable lessons when made during practice, but they're fatal mistakes when made during actual emergencies. Adjust your bag based on lessons learned, then test it again. Survival preparedness is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Regular maintenance and rotation of supplies keeps your survival bag ready when needed. Food expires, batteries lose charge, medications degrade, water bottles develop leaks, clothing accumulates moisture and mildew. Every 6 months, inspect your entire bag, check expiration dates, test equipment, rotate food and water, verify medications, ensure everything remains in working order. This routine maintenance might seem tedious, but discovering expired supplies or broken equipment during an emergency could cost your life. Update your bag as seasons change. Summer requires more water capacity and sun protection. Winter demands additional warm clothing and fire-starting ability. Your bag must match current conditions and anticipated threats. Environmental and regional considerations determine what specific items your survival bag needs. Coastal areas require different preparations than mountains. Deserts demand different supplies than forests. Urban environments present different challenges than rural locations. Understanding the specific threats and conditions in your area allows intelligent customization of your survival bag. Earthquake zones require different preparation than tornado alleys. Areas prone to flooding need different supplies than regions facing wildfire risk. Hurricane zones demand specific evacuation planning that differs from blizzard preparation. One-size-fits-all advice has limited value. You must adapt general principles to your specific circumstances. Psychological preparedness receives far too little attention in survival discussions. The best-equipped person in the world fails if their mind breaks under pressure. Mental toughness, stress management, and psychological resilience matter as much as physical supplies. Small items that provide comfort, familiarity, and hope have real survival value. Photographs of loved ones, a small religious or spiritual item if that matters to you, a deck of cards for distraction and entertainment, something to write with and on for journaling or leaving messages. These things weigh almost nothing but can make an enormous difference in maintaining mental stability during prolonged emergencies. Humans are psychological beings, not just physical ones, and ignoring mental health during survival situations leads to poor decisions, giving up, and unnecessary death. Children and family members with special needs require additional planning. Infant formula, diapers, bottles, comfort items, age-appropriate food, and medications cannot be forgotten. Elderly family members might need specific medical equipment, mobility aids, or dietary requirements. Pets are family too, and responsible preparedness includes food, water, medications, leashes, carriers, and records for animals. These additional considerations increase planning complexity but cannot be ignored. When crisis strikes, improvising solutions for vulnerable family members creates stress and risks that proper advanced planning prevents. Skills matter more than stuff. All the equipment in the world means nothing without knowledge of how to use it. Learning first aid, fire starting, water purification, navigation, shelter building, food procurement, and threat assessment provides capabilities that no amount of gear can replace. Skills don't run out of batteries, break, get lost, or weigh anything. Investing time in learning practical survival skills multiplies the effectiveness of every item in your bag. Taking classes, reading books, watching educational content, practicing skills regularly, and gaining real experience creates competence that saves lives. The best survival tool is a trained mind that stays calm under pressure, assesses situations accurately, makes good decisions quickly, and adapts to changing circumstances. The survival mindset separates those who make it from those who don't. Acceptance that disasters happen, commitment to preparation, willingness to face uncomfortable realities, determination to survive regardless of circumstances, and taking responsibility for your own safety rather than depending on others to rescue you. Most people maintain dangerous illusions that emergencies won't happen to them, that government will quickly restore order, that help will always arrive in time. These comfortable lies get people killed. The harsh truth is that when disasters strike, you might be completely on your own for days or weeks. Emergency services might be overwhelmed or non-existent, and your survival depends entirely on your own preparation and capability. Accepting this reality motivates serious preparation rather than complacent hope. Community and relationships provide survival advantages that individual preparation cannot match. Forming connections with neighbors, creating mutual aid networks, sharing skills and resources, and building trust before emergencies occur creates support systems that benefit everyone involved. No person is an island, and trying to survive entirely alone is far more difficult and dangerous than having a community of prepared people who help each other. This doesn't mean broadcasting your preparations to everyone or making yourself a target. It means carefully building relationships with like-minded people who take responsibility seriously and can be trusted in crisis situations. Financial preparedness supports physical preparedness. Having emergency funds, maintaining insurance coverage, reducing debt, and creating financial buffers allows you to weather economic shocks that often accompany physical disasters. Many people survive the immediate emergency but face financial catastrophe afterward because they lacked economic resilience. Job loss, medical bills, property damage, and displacement create financial burdens that can take years to overcome. Integrating financial preparedness with physical preparedness creates comprehensive resilience that protects every aspect of life. Information gathering and staying informed about potential threats allows proactive responses rather than reactive scrambling. Monitoring weather forecasts, understanding regional risks, tracking potential problems, maintaining awareness of social and political instability, and recognizing warning signs of developing emergencies provides time to prepare, evacuate, or take protective action before situations become critical. Many disaster deaths occur because people ignored warnings, failed to recognize danger, or delayed action until escape became impossible. Situational awareness and information processing are survival skills that everyone can develop. The uncomfortable truth is that most people reading this will never actually prepare adequately. They'll nod along, think this makes sense, maybe even start a list of supplies, but then life gets busy, other priorities take over, and preparation gets delayed indefinitely. Don't be that person. The time to prepare is before you need it, because once the emergency starts, it's too late. Every disaster catches people saying they wish they had prepared, they knew they should have prepared, they meant to prepare. Those regrets are worthless. Action is what matters, not intentions. If you want more detailed information, comprehensive guides, and specific documentation that takes your preparedness to the next level, check the pinned comment where resources are available that go even deeper into building complete survival capability. Share this video with people you care about, people who might not realize how unprepared they are, because this information could save their lives. Hit that like button if this opened your eyes to what really matters in survival preparedness. Drop a comment with what surprised you most or what you're adding to your bag immediately. Subscribe so you don't miss content that could be the difference between life and death when the next crisis hits. Most people won't take this seriously until it's too late. But you're not most people. You're someone who acts before disaster strikes. Someone who takes responsibility for your own survival. Someone who refuses to be a victim of circumstances. That decision, that mindset, is what truly determines who survives when everything falls apart.